Hello and welcome to episode 98 of the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe, and as always, I'm joined by Wib. Say hello.
Hello.
And I am also joined by Drumblebum. Say hello.
Hello.
How are you lovely gentlemen doing today?
All things considered, not bad. Matthew, how are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, pretty good to be honest. I mean, again, considering.
Yes.
Snipe.
I am doing just as well as I can, considering.
Yes.
Thank you for asking. Yeah, it's a bit of a turbulent time. We're not going to dwell too much on it, because we're here to cheer everyone up and talk about wee-wees and daddies and all that silly stuff.
What we would like to say, though, is in light of the whole coronavirus thing, stay safe and be sensible, and most importantly, kind of look after each other. If you can help people in your local area, do so, but, you know, whilst maintaining the appropriate boundaries, because there's some very vulnerable people, and especially if, say, hypothetically, you happen to be in the UK where the government's plan is to let all old people die, then, you know, we've got to look after each other because the government isn't going to do it.
Yeah. So just keep an eye out for each other, and we'll all get through this, because it's a bit of a shitty time for everybody.
It is.
Speaking of the same kind of thing, Warhammer Fest has been cancelled. They'd sent out a big email basically saying you'll get full refunds.
Did they?
Yeah. I got an email saying, hey, we will refund the full price of your ticket.
Oh, okay.
Which is like, hey, no, thank you, that's pretty rad.
So they've cancelled it, not postponed it?
No, it's cancelled. It's just cancelled.
Okay. And as far as I'm aware, until further notice, yeah. So it's probably it's probably not going to happen this year.
They've said it's not.
Yeah, so there we go. But I mean, to be fair, it's better safe than sorry, because as frustrating as it is, again, better safe than sorry.
Yeah. So sorry if anyone was wanting to come and say hello to us.
Yeah.
Because obviously that won't be able to happen. Because there was a lot of people that we wanted to meet. Because we're going for both days this year.
Well, I mean, current situation notwithstanding, because it will be over next year. By next year.
Well, I mean, we hope.
We hope. So we'll go next year.
Yeah, and I what I would like to do later this year, obviously,
everything going well.
Future apocalypses notwithstanding. To sort out some kind of meet-up at Warhammer World or something.
And have, a big game or something.
Yeah, we want to try and sort something out this year.
Yeah, the most ideal, future, that's what we'll do. But yeah, also, new Gaskell and new Ragnar models.
Yes.
An actual new Ragnar model in the year of our Lord, 2020.
I know, it's shocking.
And I like it.
Yeah.
It's a good-looking model.
Yeah, I was very, very shocked to see, Ragnar finally getting a new model. He's been Primaris, obviously.
Which I've seen a lot of people, because anytime something happens in any fandom, someone's like, the fandom is dead, time to sell my 10k of space or whatever. It's really weird, especially in, the Super Hulock fandom, people going, oh, I hate Sherlock now, I'm going to sell 10k of Ultramarines.
I know,
it's
like, weird.
What? But, yeah. People react in different ways. But no, it's they're going to put them in a box set, I think it was rumoured.
Yes, it's not rumoured, it's confirmed.
I am a little out of date.
Yeah, no, there is a box set coming out, which I have already forgot the name of.
It's Wolves.
Something of the Wolf.
Something. You said I assumed you'd already ordered it.
No.
No, because to be fair, the actual Marine Army Iron is 90% dreadnoughts anyway. And I would like to get Ragnar. But it's
for curiosity, if nothing else.
Curiosity, and he looks like he'd be a great fun model to paint. And like, but the thing is, it comes with like a bunch of just like Marines, and I'm like, I'm not gonna paint. I'm not gonna do anything with them because I don't take them.
I have the exact same thing because
It would
with
just
the
be wasted on me.
Yeah, with the orc side of the box, because it comes with Gaskell and Makari, which I'll get to in a second.
You will.
And it comes with some mega knobs and some regular knobs, and I don't really use my orc army anymore, and I'm currently building a Grot Rebellion, so neither of those things would be useful in that either. So it's just sort of like, well... So yeah, it's just... it's a cool box, and it does seem like it's not going to be... I've heard the rumours of its price not being super expensive for 40k miniatures, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other stuff would just be wasted on us. So personally, I'm thinking we'll just end up waiting for the characters to come out individually.
Release. Yeah, I think that'd probably... Because, I mean, like, if I got it given to me for, like, my birthday, I'd be like, oh, that's cool, but I'd still kind of feel bad about basically wasting most of the box.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm just going to wait until the actual individual characters are released. Because, yeah, I will absolutely pick up Ragnar. Because I like Primaris. I like the way they look at the very least. And I already... Do I have an old Ragnar?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have an old Ragnar, so I could just kind of like, you know...
I mean, hell, you have the old Lehman Russ. So.
I do.
I really worry for his scalp, though. That's my concern.
That is a ridiculously over-the-top top-knot.
Like, that shouldn't be that near a chainsword.
No, it should not.
That's just a bad idea, however cool and strong you are.
Have you seen those TikToks where, like, people will be singing in a kitchen making cupcakes, and then one of them gets their long hair caught in, like, a whisk, like one of the power mixers?
Yeah.
That's what I imagine would happen. He needs to put that in a bun or something. I'm worried.
Can you imagine the outcry if Ragnar Blackmane had a man bun?
I love it how, like...
Okay, that's what you have to do to it when you get one.
Yeah.
I'll give him like a sexy man bun.
Yeah.
But what I do want to say, so we're going to pick up one thing we'll definitely be picking up is the Saga of the Wolf book. That's the thing this is coming out alongside.
Yes.
For a couple of reasons. One, Space Wolves finally get like combat doctrines and stuff.
Yeah, that's not something I've had to think about.
That thing that I've only played one game with my Blood Angels since they've got it, and I forgot to use entirely.
Yeah.
I'll need to remember in the next one. But also, one really tantalizing, tasty, lovely morsel that was mentioned.
Just call me by my name.
Is that they said that they are putting in new clans for the orcs, one of which is a Grot specific clan.
Ooh.
And as someone that is currently building a fledgling Grot Rebellion army, I'm very interested. And also, Makari seems to be, from everything that we've seen so far, a standalone HQ choice.
Which is exactly what you wanted.
Which is exactly what I wanted, because currently the HQ choice I have for mine is a converted shock attack gun. Well, I say converted, it's more scratch built. It's a weird helicopter gun that's being remote controlled by a Grot.
It's pretty awesome.
I'm very proud of it.
Cool.
It's on Twitter if you're interested in saying it.
@WibDoesTweets.
@WibDoesTweets. But yeah, to have an official one is really cool, and it's like, ooh. So I kind of want to pick him up, but he's also on the same sprue as Gaskell Thraka, and I was like, I did a quick little Photoshop, and I was like, I kind of want to turn him into like a giant killer can.
Yeah, but what are you going to call it?
I was like, I wanted to call him Gazcan Scrapper.
Which is amazing.
So yeah, I kind of want to pick up Gaskell and then do the sensible thing and then convert him to be a Grot. Yes. Because I just don't use my orcs anymore. I think it's just because they were built for 5th, and I didn't upgrade them at all during 6th or 7th because I wasn't playing. So a lot of the new units that came out for them, I just didn't really see. And then when 8th came out, the army that I'd built for several editions earlier didn't work as well, and so I just didn't enjoy playing them as much. And I knew I'd need to spend a lot to get the units that would make them function again. And so I was just like, well, I mean, I've got them. I still played some games with them, and I'll no doubt I'll play other games with them in the future. But like, yeah, I'm half tempted to actually just cannibalize a lot of the non-orc stuff, like the vehicles, and put them in my Grot Rebellion, because even though it's technically the same force, the fact that it's all converted and I'm getting to theme it all is just like I'm really enjoying. Granted, I have still not yet played a game with them.
That's because you've built
got
like 6,000 models and it's about 47 points worth.
Okay.
Okay, that's ridiculous. It's at least 60.
The current force is 30 grots, which I can have as either, I can have in multiple different configurations. 3 killer cans, a shock attack gun mech, a runt herd, and the red gobbo. I believe that's 361 points.
Yeah.
If I get one more HQ choice, I can run it as like a fucking battalion. If I got the Makari and Gaskell thing, and so I'd have in total 3 HQ choices, I'd be able to run a battalion and a spearhead detachment.
Isn't that like, what was it you said, 9
Oh,
CP?
That'd mean so it's 3 plus 5 plus 1.
So yeah, that's 9 command points.
Yeah, 9
Fuck
command
off.
points.
You are not having 9 command points.
For like what would be, I don't know. Obviously, I'm guessing here for how many points Gaskell will be. It'll probably be like a 600 point force. Yeah.
Wow.
You can do ridiculous CP farm nonsense with Grots because of how small they are,
Yeah.
and like because they're 3 points each. But I'm having a lot of fun building those. So yeah, and yeah, I'm very interested to see what the new rules.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The new rules will be as related to Grot armies, because historically they've not really thrown Grot Rebellion players many bones. You've had to rely entirely on conversions, and I don't mind that. Like,
but it is a bit like prohibitive for a lot of players.
Yeah. Not everyone can make the things that you make.
Yeah, like seriously, they can't.
Because you're some sort of like plasterboard, plastic. What's it called?
Plasticard.
You're some kind of like plasticard wizard, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
I'm not super good with it in other contexts, but when it comes to making orc vehicles, it just seems to be a compulsion that I have to do
Accept
it.
the dang compliment.
I feel that I'm pretty good at it. And it's obviously requires a fairly heavy time and spare part commitment, which not everyone has. But yeah, so I'm going to be really intrigued to see how it manifests, because in the current rules, taking all Grot armies kind of screws you over a lot, because most of your stratagems don't work with Grots.
Okay.
It explicitly says, like, unless it says it works on Grots, you can't fucking use it. And it's like,
wow,
okay. So I'm hoping that with the new book, maybe that's what the Grot thing will actually do, is make it so that you can use those stratagems with them, maybe. Who knows? And the new stratagems they add, maybe they'll be more Grot-friendly because of that.
Here's hoping.
So yeah, I'm very, very intrigued to see how it manifests. And yeah, at the very least, I do want to pick up Gaskell and Makari to do horrible, heretical Grot Rebellion things too.
Sounds good to me, honestly.
On Makari,
Anyway.
before we move on, I quite approve of how on Warhammer community site it confirmed what I was thinking about Makari being many Makaris that are all just named Makari. I was like, thought that's what they were going with.
I do like that. That is
Because Gaskell doesn't care which Grot's with him, he just wants someone to hold his stick.
Well,
I mean,
I have read fan fiction like that, yeah.
I mean, I do personally kind of... his unnaturally lucky thing only really works if it's a single Grot rather than a...
No, because he does die, but there's just another Grot to instantly replace him.
Maybe that's like a reincarnation thing.
Yeah, but he's got like a 2+ invulnerable save.
Yeah, and he appeases like a particular chaos god. Like he appeases Singe, so Singe is just like keeps reincarnating him.
Nah, Gork and Mork could punch Singe in the face if they could.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. But still, it's like part of me wishes that it was the same Grot, because that would just be hilarious.
However, no one's ever mentioned it, but have you noticed how Makari very obviously has a little wrist like mounted bit of tech that is, I'm just going to say, is a force field, and that's why he has the 2+ invulnerable save.
No, it's his Fitbit.
It's Makari's Fitbit that just happens to give him a 2+ invulnerable.
Yeah.
So I believe that was
It's
put
got
there
really
as like
good cardio.
Yeah, he's just like seriously. He does like 40,000 steps a day.
But I really love how that's just not mentioned anywhere.
What is Fitbit?
His Fitbit isn't mentioned anywhere.
Well,
so
yeah,
it's...
because Fitbit is like a copyrighted term.
Okay,
it's a fitness tracker.
Okay, because I'm talking about something specific. I need you to not do that.
Do what?
That thing where
Hey, look, if you don't know anything about Warhammer lore, that's on you.
Okay, I'm going to talk, and I ask that you do not interject for at least 2 minutes.
Fuck, okay.
Because that his little Fitbit isn't mentioned anywhere. I kind of like that because it means that it's something that you can just infer as being the reason why the multiple Makaris have the quote-unquote luckiness, is just because they all have a shield. That he's, and that's just a thing that he has. I kind of like that. Because it means that, you can choose to not paint it up like that. You can just have it as a regular wristband if you want to just pretend that it's the old Makari, who is just lucky. Or you can, carry across what would be the new canon thing of him being multiple Makaris. So I kind of like that. So yeah. You're allowed to speak again, by the way. Okay, you're waiting the actual 2 minutes. Okay,
yeah, I was tempted to, but I thought, no, I'm not going to be that pedantic this one time.
I wasn't speaking to you, Matt.
Okay, I can go then.
Yeah, you can speak. Has one other thing that is actually a little serious to mention, which is what with the things happening in the real world, both globally and more personal stuff to us. The next Codex Compliant is probably going to be a little bit later than you're anticipating, maybe into the start of April, unfortunately. Just because things have been stressful and I've just not been able to get stuff done. The script is done and it'll be starting to be recorded soon, but it should have been out this weekend. I say this weekend. When you hear this, it'll be the previous weekend. But yeah, it absolutely will not be out by then. So sorry, but the real world is the worst, and yeah. But yeah. I'm sure 2 minutes has passed by now.
I can talk now. Yes, exactly. See, that's what we call malicious compliance, because fuck you.
I just didn't think it would work.
The one time you don't think it'll work, I make it work. And now I am never going to fucking shut up again.
I know that, but I got to say the thing that I wanted to say without getting...
Honestly, I was zoning out. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I thought as much. However, it is in fact time for you to speak now.
No, I don't feel like it.
So what have you been up to, Snipe?
So much, but nothing new, really?
Yeah.
It's been a stressful couple of weeks, so again, the apocalypse and shit happening. It's been a little bit stressful, so I've had a bit of a rough one. I was going to go out for a run today, and I don't think there's anyone who's been more inconvenienced than this pandemic than me. Quite frankly, no, I joke. I have played a bit of a game called Arcade Spirits, which Longfang gifted to me. Which is like a dating sim.
Okay.
But it's like, I was really impressed with it. So basically it's like an alternate timeline thing where the video game crash of the 80s just never happened.
Ooh, okay.
So like, it's like modern day-ish. It's like 20XX.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. And it's like, arcades are still a thing and all that. And all smartphones, all this kind of thing. So it's basically just the same, but crash.
Is this Western?
Yes.
Okay. Just because there's I feel there's a very firm, line between the Western interpretation of like the dating game genre and the Japanese.
Well, yeah, the Japanese one I'm not a fan of because it's pretty bad. Comparatively, I mean, I find with a lot of Japanese dating sims, there's just archetypes and that's it. Which, yeah, that's going to happen. But it's kind of like, I don't have a personality. I am the stuck-up one. And then that's kind of it. And
they're more prone to tropes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
It's just a bigger industry.
Yeah, I was actually incredibly impressed with this. So, like, you have quite a gender-neutral looking character. You can choose your pronouns.
Cool.
And yeah, you, editing yourself is a little bit. It's not as like advanced as say like Dream Daddy or anything like that. It's just basically, do you want short, long, or like medium hair?
I mean, those are the 3 types.
Those are the 3 types of hair. Like skin color, eye color, that kind of thing. And you put in your first and last name.
Yeah.
And like the first character you encounter, who's called Juniper, is amazing. She's like what is it? Like Betty Spaghetti. Like bangles and neon pink. It's really colourful.
Betty Spaghetti.
You don't know Betty Spaghetti?
This name sounds
really
familiar.
Ugly doll.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either, but I didn't want to sound completely...
Okay, Google it and tell me you wouldn't like wrap that around your wiener to make it look huge. Go on, I'll wait.
Okay, now I have to look.
Mm-hmm.
Betty.
Spaghetti.
Oh,
Spaghetti with like a Y.
3, 4. She's the 5th Betty S down.
Yeah.
She's Betty Spaghetti.
Oh,
okay,
shit, yeah, I remember those.
There. Okay.
No, I would absolutely not wrap that around my penis. It looks very hard and uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, you could bend her arms a lot. So you could do it. But I was always creeped out by it and I hated the adverts, so...
Yeah, no, I get that. I would too be freaked out by it.
But yeah, you see how they're very colourful, very neon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Juniper's like that and she's super cute. And like it's just been like kind of laying the groundwork so far. So you get like a digital assistant that basically like is like, hey, I got you a job interview at an arcade, and then there's just like this rad old lady called Francine who owns it, who fucked her husband to death. That's canon, by the way.
Okay, I was about to ask.
Yeah, it's like, oh yes, it used to be called Frederick's Funplex, but you know. After my poor late husband, and then you're like, wow, I'm sorry. And she's like, oh, don't be. He died sadly at peace, like in the throes of passion with me. And I'm like, oh.
It's a way to go, I suppose.
Okay, and like for the job interview, like everyone knows the fucking job interview questions and how tedious they are and how you have to lie. And it's like, so... What do you feel you could bring to this company? And then you have to go, I just want to suck your dick and never ever have holiday pay or whatever. This woman is like, what if you were a dinosaur, what would you be? And I'm like, I am made for this job. This is for me. But yeah, you also have like a personality system. So you can turn that on or off. It's kind of annoying because I was like, I'll turn it on. But then it was like, I don't think you can turn it off once you've got in, which is a little annoying. But it just kind of shows you, because in case you're colorblind, because it's like different colors. So like green is kind, or like the nice, warm kind of reply. But they put like a smile, like a little love heart in front of it.
Yeah.
And then there's like silly or like jokey, which is like a little yellow and a little smiley face and etc. There is like a neutral option, which doesn't really... It's just like the safe option.
Yeah. This is just reminding me of the thing in Fallout 4 where you could do sarcastic reply, but it didn't tell you what that was.
So it was like sarcastic reply, hey, I hope your family dies of scurvy.
Yeah, sometimes...
You're like, that's not sarcastic, that's actively antagonistic.
Sometimes the sarcastic reply would be saying yes sarcastically, sometimes it would be saying no sarcastically, and sometimes it would be telling them to fucking die sarcastically, and you just had to guess.
Yeah. Whereas this actually shows you straight up what you're saying.
This is a good dialogue
it's a good
system.
Yeah, so that's interesting. And like the characters I've met are like quirky, and I like them. I've just met like the pro gamer, and I don't like her because she's just a Twitch streamer basically, and I'm like, Twitch streamers TM.
Yeah.
Like, if you like don't get mad at losing at games, then you're a cuck. Or
it's a weak mindset.
It's a weak mindset, obviously. It's like, no, you just need to like learn how to handle your emotions a bit better, because that kind of stuff is very damaging to you and those around you. But what the fuck do I...
And also, you professionally play video games, so your opinion is very tainted and maybe have some self-awareness, you idiot.
Yeah, basically.
I'm not talking about anyone specifically.
Oh,
here.
no, this is purely hypothetical.
Also, wearing a Red Bull bandana would make you look like an idiot. It
would make you look like a testicle with raisins for eyes.
Yep.
A really ugly testicle.
Wearing a Red Bull bandana.
Yeah. You'd be very silly. But again, all hypothetical.
All hypothetical, not about a real person.
No, not about a person at all. But yeah, so she's kind of like, there's like 3 things you could approach, and there's like, and it's like, oh, there's like a person at like this cabinet who's just screaming obscenities, and I'm like, oh Christ, we've got a DSP over here. So I go over and she's like, hey, you fucking scrub, get fucking wrecked. You aren't as powerful as me, you fucking shit. And I'm just like, okay. And like the guy she's beating at this game is called Rando Calrissian. Which I was like, hey, nice. But yeah, and then she's like, oh yeah, kid, like to me, and I'm like, ugh. I just like immediately, she's such a sore winner, I'm just like, no, immediately don't think no, I just don't like you.
The only thing worse than a sore loser is a sore winner.
Exactly. So I'm up to that point, and I'm like, but no, I'm liking it so far. It's got some interesting writing. I like the little dialogue system. It's quite cute, and yeah, I like it. And that's basically all the new things I've been doing. I've just been sticking to my like depression kind of games.
No, I don't blame you.
Because yeah, it's been a bit rough, but I mean, yeah, that's basically me.
Cool.
So Wiblet, what have you been doing?
A couple of things.
You talked about your Grot Rebellion army.
Yeah, there's my Grot Rebellion army, which I've sort of talked
You've
about.
covered, yeah.
Very, very much enjoying painting it.
It's because then you're not watching the news.
There is that. But
Hi there, gonna get real for a second.
But yeah, really enjoying putting together my Grot Rebellion, doing a lot of like little conversions of individual like grots, because it's like when you have a horde. So there's kind of 2 ways you can go about making a horde army. You can either look at the fact that you have lots and lots of individual troops as being something, just like, well, I've got loads of them. There's no reason to spend any time on them individually because there's so many of them. Or you can look at that as the opportunity to do a lot of fun shit with them, because if a conversion that you try doesn't work out, well, it's okay. They're just one in a huge group, and it makes them look more diverse. And especially when you're talking about something that's like grots, having them be a little disorganized looking is kind of a positive, because that's sort of how they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to like add in little specialist ones into it. So I've got like a communications one who's got one of the backpacks from the Imperial Guard, like the Acadian box set. So it's got like the communications thing, and like I made some headphones for him, which I'm weirdly proud of. Because it's like I had to make them from nothing, and he's got like the little mouthpiece thing, like he's a fucking Twitch streamer, which is made from like the curved part of a paperclip.
Huh, okay.
So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun doing things like that. I've got like a medic one as well, and a sniper. And what I want to do is to try and get some of the more obscure grots from various places. So I want to try and pick up some like a handful of Rogue Trader grots, and I've already got a second Ed grot in there, and I've got one of the ones from Badrook's old like retinue of grots that you could get. I've got the one that's like on a flagpole who I've given a gun. I think he's just, I don't even know what he's for. I think he's like an ammo runt originally, but I've just given him a gun. And so now he's just adds to the thing, and he's obviously got a black flag with a red star on it now, rather than like a pirate flag.
How do the grots compare to the old fantasy goblins, like size-wise, etc.?
A little smaller.
Okay, so you couldn't get away with using like any of the goblin models.
I am totally going to do that at some point.
Okay.
Grots are just like orcs. They come in various shapes and sizes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I was going to get some of the Gloomspire Gits.
That's the one.
Gloomspite Gits. I think it's Gloomspite Gits. I always think it's Gloomspire. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's a better name.
Yeah. I always forget. But I was going to get a handful of those because they have lots of interesting squig models. And I'd quite like to get their loon boss on a squig and turn that into a war boss. Like run that as a war boss, because it's about the right size to my estimations. And yeah, just having fun doing that, and I've also realised that I have individual parts to make normal. Because I have a pirate grot, and I have a separate pirate grot head that not only has the tricorn hat that normal wears, but it has a star on it as well. So it's basically the only thing that makes it not be a straight version of normal. Who, if you didn't hear a few podcasts ago, we did a one shot where I played a goblin called Normal, mostly because introducing my character as "Hello, I'm Normal" is just very funny to me. And yeah, I can now make him for my Grot Rebellion, which, as a side point, means I'll then have a model for Normal should I ever want to play him in D&D again.
Yeah,
it's pretty rad.
Which is pretty cool, because the weapons that the one's got, he's got a cutlass and a flintlock, which, yeah, I can work that in D&D. That's fine. I can wangle the flintlock thing.
I wouldn't wangle a flintlock if I were you.
I'll wangle a flintlock all day long.
Mate.
But yeah, so Grot Rebellions are fun. I recommend everyone does them, except don't, because it's ludicrous how many models you have to buy and paint.
A lot of work.
Like, oh hey, it would be really fun to run 3 full Grot squads, so I'd have 90 Grots on the table. Oh, how many points is that? 270.
To be fair, for like bang for your buck, so like time spent painting and converting and stuff, like it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, well, like a squad of 10 Grots costs £12.50.
See, I was up until £12, but 50p, that's a bit much.
Bit much.
I
mean, they are getting on in age, and there are some that are monopose, but to someone like me, that's a challenge. So I've been trying to convert even the monopose models as much as possible. But anyway, aside from that, last night I watched the Power Rangers movie from a couple of years back.
Saban's Power Rangers. Isn't that what it's called?
It's just called Power Rangers.
Okay.
Like, that's, I think, officially from, like a copyright perspective, maybe, but, like...
Okay.
No, it's just called Power Rangers. Possibly to distinguish it from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which is the official title of the old show.
Anytime I hear that, I just think of that insanely over-the-top guitar solo. Also, I have a very important question.
Yeah?
This is really important.
Yeah.
Seriously. Bulk and Skull?
Unfortunately, there isn't really Bulk and Skull there.
Nor
is the Bulk and Skull theme. There is a bully who does get slapped at one point. It's pretty funny.
I want Bulk. I saw an episode of Power Rangers. It was like 10 years ago, so it was recent as opposed to when Mighty Morphin Power Rangers came out.
I watched an episode of it about a couple of years ago. It has aged super poorly.
Yeah, but like I watched it was one of the more newer ones, and it had Bulk and Skull in it.
Oh yeah,
but the thing is, they are very obviously 45-year-old men.
Yeah,
and it's just like, why are you bullying teenagers, you dicks?
I think they're in like the actors must be like in their 50s. Like the last time I saw them,
they look it, and like, don't get me wrong, I fucking love Bulk and Skull so much, but like, come on, like. At the time, like, you know how, like, in like, teen drama and stuff, they're always, obviously, like, at least 25 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, now it's, like, you can't even pass on that kind of, like, level. It's, like, no, like, these people who are obviously, like, 20, 25-year-old, like, young people, you're literally double their fucking age.
Yeah.
What? You've been playing Bulk and Skull for as long as they've been alive.
Yeah, basically.
God, I love Bulk and Skull so much, though.
But I can say that though the movie is... I wouldn't say it's great. And I mentioned this on Twitter and no one believed me, but the opening joke on it, because there's like a little bit of an intro showing the past, where Zordon in this version was the Red Ranger and Rita Repulsa was the Green Ranger, like in the past. Like, okay, that's interesting. And then it cuts to Jason... And he, with someone else, they've stolen like a school mascot. And then one of them makes a joke about, oh, it should be relaxed because I milked it, and then it's a bull. So the
Red Ranger just jerked off a bull to completion.
No, his friend did.
Oh, okay. You can't have a Power Ranger just like bring an animal to sexual climax. I guess that would be weird.
Yeah, so that was a bit weird. No one believed me, but it's like it's
also,
like no.
Did you not notice that it was just a dick?
They did say
that
it's
cows don't just have one long veiny nipple.
That was part of the joke. Was like you do realise that cows have more than one udder, right?
Oh my god, that's horrible. I was like joking, but it just went too hard.
And then it looks underneath at the cow's dick.
Oh no. Oh, fuck this movie.
But aside from that,
aside from the cow jerking scene,
but yeah, once you passed the cow, the fucking bull wanking scene, it has a weird amount of heart to it.
Yeah, because they're like, well, we got the bull wank out early.
Yeah, it's like
just so now we can be serious.
It's kind of just a decent little modern interpretation of it, like just a little teenage drama thing where these strangers all have to learn to work together because they inadvertently become the Power Rangers. It suffers from the She-Ra problem a bit of they try and do serious things with terribly named things.
Like Rita Repulsa. I still like you said that it would be cool if like she possessed someone's body who was called Rita but her actual name was Bandora, which is her original name in the Super Sentai series.
Yeah, that's her name from the Japanese version of Power Rangers, which is actually quite good. It's way better than Power Rangers. My God, it's actually got a plot. But the only real big problem with the Power Rangers movie is just that the visual design is terrible.
Like, Alpha looks really gross.
Alpha 5 looks so bad. He just
doesn't look good.
A terrifying eldritch horror. And the Megazord looks bad. The individual Zords don't look too bad. Goldar is appallingly terrible. Like, just the worst. It's really weird, but
I think Rita should have possessed a Sphinx.
Yeah, or at least they just had it, because it doesn't really have any of it's just a molten gold thing that has wings. It doesn't look like Goldar at all. Mm-hmm. But they managed to do, with the plot, they managed to do kind of sensible things. The characters are really kind of likable. Billy, especially, is just amazing.
He's the Blue Ranger, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the Blue Ranger. And yeah, he's just cool. He's kind of the glue that ties them together. And yeah. Now, one thing there's a couple of things that I just like to mention because it's fantastic. One is that they managed to do one of the very rare examples of a product placement that actually works in universe. So there's a magical MacGuffin thing that actually is super not important what it is in the plot. I think about it.
Is it a donut?
Kind of.
Oh. See, now I want donuts, thanks.
That's just a risk, because like if a super plot important thing is just edible.
No, it's not.
Not sure that's a great idea.
It's under a Krispy Kreme.
Under a Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, it's literally under a Krispy Kreme.
They do decent donuts.
So what it is that there's this hidden crystal thing that Rita Repulsa is after. And Billy finds it, and it was like buried millennia ago, back in the times of the dinosaurs, but it was where it was buried now is just under a Krispy Kreme. And when they first do that, you go, oh, that's tedious product placement. But because they keep mentioning it, and it just becomes kind of funny of like, okay, we've got to get to the Krispy Kreme and save it. And it's just kind of funny.
I guess we're going back to Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, like they just treat it like that, or like saying, where is it? Oh, it's under a shop, it's called Krispy Kreme, and Rita's like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? And because they just kind of naturally just constantly refer to it, it sort of crosses that line of being like overt product placement and just into, well, yeah, you would just say it's in the Krispy Kreme in reality. And it kind of works, and they kind of pay it off a little bit because after Goldar has like come into into Angel Grove and started smashing shit up, there's a very quiet moment where Rita walks into the Krispy Kreme and then, like, picks up one of the donuts and then just kind of puts the staff down and leans on a table and just takes a nibble, like, kind of curious, because obviously donuts are a new thing to her. And then the wall gets caved in by Goldar, and she just doesn't react to it while she's eating this donut. And it's like...
That's actually pretty powerful.
It's just product placement, but you actually kind of did that product placement well. Like,
kudos. That also kind of humanizes Rita Repulsa a lot, because she's just because she's not going to be scared of the giant monsters she controls, and she's more interested in a donut, which is a new and exciting thing.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Also, they did a really good job at recontextualizing and inserting all of the terrible catchphrases from the show. So Rita does go, "Make my monster grow," but literally... Does her
magic staff do it, though?
Not really. It's her inherent power, because Goldar is made from molten gold that's being pulled out from the thing. And so Goldar is literally growing as she is doing it. So her saying, "Make my monster grow," is like, that's like fine.
I mean, if she doesn't like overarm it from the moon, I guess it's okay. Because that was always one of my favourites, how she's just like, "I'm going to throw my staff from my moon palace to, like, the middle of Tokyo."
In the Japanese version, it's literally got Bandora's palace written on it in giant neon letters that flash.
So, like, it's a fucking casino.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, that's amazing. But yeah, just, like, her long-arming this and just waiting 15 minutes for it to make planetfall.
Yeah. But also, they do It's Morphin Time. But because they've been talking, like, the whole thing is, like, based around they need to come together to be able to morph into their suits. Like, that, it's more placed around. It's not just they use the little belt thing.
Oh, the thing that will, like...
with the coin in it, yeah. They don't just use that and then morph. It's a case of that it's within them, and they need to work together in order to access that power to be able to change.
That's way better than the original Power Rangers story.
And so they're talking about opening the morph grid and all this, and, like, they need to be able to morph, and so when they finally are able to do it, Jason just has this very quiet moment of just going, "It's morphin' time." And in context, it's nowhere near as stupid. It's really weird. Like, basically, this is one of those things where it could have been the 90s Power Rangers movie, which is completely terrible.
Fucking, what's Michael Bay?
It could have been a Transformers thing. The Tyrannosaurus Zord does kick a Camaro and say, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, Bumblebee."
Really?
Yeah, that's a thing.
I'm not sorry. Kick it harder.
But yeah, also the Power Rangers theme is in it too.
Yeah.
They didn't do it quite as well. It just kind of happens out of nowhere, and you're like, okay, cool. I personally think they should have built it up a little bit more with the Buckethead solo to begin with, but you know what? They used it, and yeah. Honestly, if you got, like, 2 hours to spare and you didn't watch it at the time, go watch it. It's not bad. Is
Zordon still like a floating David Cage head?
Yes, and he's played by Bryan Cranston.
That's weird.
Nice.
He's actually a face in a wall, more accurately.
Okay.
And he's kind of a bit more of a dickhead for, like, part of it. It's actually, again, it does sort of interesting things. And do people mind a little bit of a spoiler?
Do they actually morph and beat the bad guy? Don't spoil it.
They do. A regular person-sized enemy gets backhandedly slapped by the Megazord and gets sent into fucking orbit.
Wow.
It's the best.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no. Seriously, go. Yeah, it's not a fantastic movie, but basically, given the sort of subject material, which, if you've ever watched the original run of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in the last few years, my god, is it terrible. Like, even more however terrible you remember it being, it's 3 times worse.
Yep.
But go watch Ranger, I believe it's called, the Japanese version. Actually quite good. I mean, if you've got a tolerance to, like, Sentai stuff. But yeah, other thing to mention is that I played a very, very bad video game on stream that I may be a little obsessed with. So there is a game called Afterfall Insanity.
There certainly is.
And we played it ages ago on the channel, and we kind of liked it at the time because it was a janky, like, I think it's Polish, survival horror-y kind of game. It feels very Dead Spacey.
Yeah.
Where you play a psychiatrist called Albert Tokai. and gradually you're in like a fallout bunker, and it falls apart. People start mutating, going mad, killing each other from like, I think it's isolation syndrome it's called. And you kind of start off and it's like, it's very poorly made, so it's really janky and the acting's not super great. One of the things that makes this that takes it from just being your average kind of mid-tier bad game is that it is absolutely fucking insane. I mean, it's called Afterfall Insanity, so it makes sense. So I don't feel any shame in spoiling the game here because it's terrible.
And you can't actually really buy it on Steam anymore?
Yes, you can't buy it on Steam for a reason that I will get to in a little bit because it's hilarious. So the game starts off. You're in this this fallout situation. Everything falls apart. You're being blamed for it. There's a guy who we started referring to as Statler because he's basically a combination of, he looks like Stalin but acts like Hitler.
Is Statler actually his name?
No, his name is not that.
Okay, I was just like, wait, what?
I actually can't remember his name.
Statler, obviously.
And you
Mr.
escape.
Statler.
you escape from your vault, basically like a fallout vault, and you escape into the real world that has been plagued by nuclear. A nuclear apocalypse has happened.
So you could say there's been a nuclear fallout.
Yes.
Okay.
And you end up in the city where it's full of people and like roving gangs, and you're
having a mega ton of fun there.
While you're chasing a guy who is the person that you believe started the infection that started everyone getting this syndrome that made them mutate.
Okay.
The game has like shooting and melee, although if you ever do play it, just play it on easy mode because it's a very bad video game.
Jank.
Yeah, and it's just not worth the hassle of playing it on a harder mode. There's nothing to be achieved by beating it on a harder mode, don't worry. And you can get through the vast majority of the game not using the guns at all. You just hit things. Fire axes, the best weapon. Very efficient. You can quite often behead people with like random shots. Really useful.
Well, there's some advice from Wib there, everybody.
Yeah. Applicable in Afterfall Insanity and other places, but don't do it there.
Like the House of Commons.
Jeez.
That'd get some fucking notice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And you escape
for legal reasons, I am joking.
So you go out into the wasteland. You fight some mutants chasing this guy that you believe solved it, and then it turns out that the wasteland that you're in is all a Truman Show style model.
Oh, I remember his like the guy's acting. He's like, "Oh my god, it's a model."
A fucking model!
And it's just like, oh,
it's so bad.
No.
It's beautiful. I lost my shit when that happened. I was so happy.
Yeah, I thought something weird had happened, and I mean it did. But because I wasn't part of that stream, so I just heard this fucking hysterical laughter, and I'm like, oh fuck, he's finally lost it.
Like I streamed like the first half of the game on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday I streamed again because I was like, no, I have to beat this game. I have to see it.
And then people came in going, Wib, you don't have to do this.
I was like, no, I have to.
I was getting text messages from Longfang going, why is he doing this to himself?
I was legit having fun. It's the perfect terrible.
You did get like there was a viewer who she went and bought an actual box copy.
Yeah, because you can still buy physical copies on like eBay and stuff,
like,
which is still sealed
no.
and for like £2 because no one fucking wants this.
I kind of do want to get a copy.
I think I might get one
because it's cheap and it's like it's such a novelty.
Now you then escape into the real world, which is also a nuclear wasteland.
Then what's the point of making it a fucking model?
Except it's a ghostland that's full of ghosts that your character never reacts to. There's ghosts, and he like goes, oh shit, an enemy, but he doesn't like go, why are there ghosts now? This is a new concept.
Okay.
The sun hurts you as well. If you go into the sun, ghosts attack you. But because the game is really bad, sometimes they go, actually, even though he's in the shade, we want enemies to appear, so we'll just spawn the ghosts. So you don't know the rules about it firmly because sometimes the game breaks the rules. Now, the game is never particularly hard, and so, like, even the really bad parts, you can kind of muster your way through. The hardest part of the game is as a boss fight with a giant mutant.
I thought it was going to be with a sun ghost.
And if you get caught, and basically you have to just constantly be shooting it and then running away, because if you ever get in melee range with it and it knocks you down, there's a very high probability.
Stun lock.
Yeah, there's a very high probability it'll stun lock you and you can't get out of it.
Honestly, stun locking is gross.
It also throws ads at you whilst it's doing it.
Ooh, motherfucker.
It's not super hard once you know what you're doing, but it's the main reason why I say
very poorly designed.
It's the main reason why I say if you do play this, never play it on a harder mode. And then you get through this area, chasing the guy that you think is to blame,
the perpetrator.
And then eventually you do get to fighting him, and when you shoot him, he does... I originally called it Matrix dodging, but Snipe, you pointed out to me the better description is Albert Wesker dodging.
He's Albert Wesker from RE5.
Yeah, because he straight up does that when you try and shoot him, and you eventually have a fight with him. And, spoilers, you're kind of his Tyler Durden.
But if you, like, why are you
but
so
he's
crap?
But he's the bad guy. But you're a figment of his imagination.
So you're basically his conscience? You're like Jiminy
Kinda.
Cricket if, like...
Your character never existed, basically, and literally nothing that happened, because you see events that you saw happen, and you see that they actually went down differently, it means that nothing in the game you have, with the exception of the fact that the original vault fell, and that the insanity of this infection spread, I think that's the only thing that you can 100% know is real. So everything that happened in the Wasteland, you don't know if it's real.
I am all for an unreliable narrator, but that is so far beyond unreliable.
Yeah.
I don't even have words.
Basically, about 95% of the game may not be real. And you don't know. And also, given how janky the game is, that this absurd story that, I remind you, is acted terribly the entire time, is interspersed with these weird gameplay janky things that are just works of art in and of themselves. I, of course, managed to find a way to fall through the world at one point.
Oh, of course, yeah. That's jank game, like bingo, free space.
There was also a bit when the cutscene happened with the big bad guy who's actually me. Basically I was going to escape by stealing a car and filling it up at a petrol station, trying to escape.
Ooh, heart pumping.
But what happened was the bad guy appears and then shoots the
servo,
the petrol station, and it explodes because it apparently was covered in C4 for some reason.
It can happen. Okay.
Yeah, I know C4 doesn't explode. Let's not dwell on it. It doesn't explode when you shoot it. Don't worry.
Okay.
I know. Okay. I get enough actuallys in YouTube comments. I don't need them here as well.
Was he filling up diesel? Because diesel doesn't do that either.
I don't believe so. I believe it was petrol. Okay. And he shoots it and it explodes. And so I go through the cutscene. And then I look back and I notice the model of the other guy never despawned. So he was just standing there the entire time.
He was like, this is awkward. Hopefully he won't notice.
I ran across the area, getting hit by the sun and spawning ghosts and stuff.
As you do.
You also fight a trash golem at one point. Never explained why. It just happened.
Okay.
And it was like, oh, this guy's just here, and I just walk through him. It also does the fun thing of I ran through an area because there's a part where it's very easy to run out of ammo. And I was very low on ammo, and then it throws you into a place where you need ammo, and so I just had to run away from the enemies, which then spawned more enemies, and more enemies, and more enemies, and then there was just too many enemies, and I had 2 bullets. I physically could not deal with them.
Two enemies.
Because this is the ghosts, you can't really deal with them with melee weapons, you have to use guns, so I needed, and I heard you, and I'm choosing to ignore it, don't worry.
I was literally waiting for a Gavin conversation so I could say it again, so thank you for noticing that's what I was doing.
Yeah, I noticed.
Shooting me the fuck down.
Don't worry, I got it.
Thank you, honey.
And so I ran through, and it turned out it takes its... You know how normally when you have checkpoints in games, it'll like go, okay, it sort of resets you to 0, so it'll when you go back to that checkpoint, if you're being chased by enemies, it won't have the enemy still chasing you.
Yeah.
So in a lot of games, there is ways where you can just run forward and just kind of snag a checkpoint and kind of sort of cheese it out a bit.
Yeah,
this game doesn't let you do that. It's a hard fucking checkpoint. Not only when you hit the checkpoint because you have regenerating health. Because there's barely any items in the game. Like, apart from ammo, that's it. So there's no health kits or anything, you just regenerate.
I mean, it's fine.
So it's like going for kind of a Dead Spacey thing, but yeah, it doesn't really have anything. It's bizarre. And so you'll run through. So all the enemies chasing you, your health and your ammo all stay the same.
Oh, Jesus.
So if you're fucked in one position, you're super fucked when you come back into it. What you have to do, fortunately, the checkpoint system does mean that if you go to chapter select and then select the chapter that you're in, you can then go into it and it'll give you like the amount of ammo you should have at that point and
That's
regular
something.
health, so you can go forward. It's hard to get stuck, but the game does sometimes fuck you over for no reason. It's a weird one, but I don't know if I'm communicating this well. I kind of love this game. I have never played, so bad it's good is quite hard to achieve in video games.
Mm-hmm.
Movies can manage it because you
Books
don't have to interact with them.
Can't.
Books can't because of the
That takes
time
so
investment.
long to read, yeah.
Well, they have trouble anyway. And games do struggle to be so bad they're good. Like, Ride to Hell Retribution is quite close to
It's
it,
so
but
bad, it's bad.
But it is just bad as well. Whereas this, because you can just kind of get through it, and the acting's terrible, the story's incomprehensible. It's 3 games mashed together, and it's so janky all the way. There's constantly weird animation glitches. Just oddities about the there's lots of weird, what I believe are translation issues where they literally translate certain things. So, like, you'll be falling from somewhere and Albert will go, oh no, not this time. And it's like, surely you mean not again? Or something like that?
This?
Or not like this? No, that was the one version of that phrase that doesn't really fit to your situation.
Do not want.
But yeah, seriously, the VODs will still be up on Twitch. If you're interested, go fucking look at them or go play the game yourself. However, the only way to play the game yourself now is to either find a key reseller that still has the key.
And be careful about those.
Because some of them are a bit shitty.
Yeah, a lot of them are pretty shit.
Or to buy a physical copy, because it's not on sale on Steam anymore. Would you like to know, Matthew, why it is not on sale on Steam anymore?
I would very much like to know, yes.
They stopped paying the license to Epic, and so they basically didn't have the license to use the Unreal Engine anymore.
Oh.
And they were like, yeah, so it got taken down because they were illegally using the engine. And went out of business because of it. Like, yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's the thing. It is a beautiful game that is terrible, and I should hate it. It's bad, but it's so endearingly crap that I legit am really tempted to try and put together like a full, like, scripted video dissecting it, because it is. I have covered just 10% of what makes it hilarious to me. And unless you hear the acting, like how bad it really is, I don't think you can truly appreciate exactly how bizarre the way it presents its already weird story. It's, yeah, fascinating. I am enamored by this terrible, terrible video game that is quite hard to play now. There was a DLC for it, which is just wave survival things, and if you want to run the DLC, you have to open up a separate instance of the game. You can't do it from the main menu, because of course. There was a sequel that was being early access and episodic. But of course that's also gone because of the company going out of business due to being sued, I believe, by Epic. So that's no longer available, although again through key resellers you can find it. They did release they did release the first episode of it, which you can get on key resellers. And obviously that was taken down as well due to the whole them not having the license to use the Unreal Engine anymore. But I don't know if it's a full episode 1 or if they only got part of it completed because it was in early access. So I kind of want to play it, but it's like a $5, and I don't know if it's like 30 minutes of gameplay. So I might have to do some research and see if their other sample of the Afterfall series was just as ridiculous. Also, he occasionally talks into his PDA to like give narration, but you move very slowly. So of course you start looking around because he's just talking very slowly about things you already know about. And so you spin it around and you realise that his mouth doesn't move when he does it, and you can very clearly see it. So yeah. Although to its credit, the game does work in the UI for cancelling that onto his PDA, which has the cancel button. It's like press F to cancel. It's written on his PDA. That's actually a nice little touch. I think that's why I am so enamoured by it, because it has little things like that where the game made by competent people could be good, but it was not, and so it's just a fucking train wreck, and it's beautiful. But that is all I have to say. I'm sorry I talked about that for a while. I just have so many thoughts and feelings about that fucking thing. So Matthew, what have you been doing?
Well, I've spent the last about half an hour just being impressed that Snipe didn't say just a little bit. So that's true. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it, by the way. I didn't want to say it at the time because I knew you just do it.
Yeah.
But thank you. I appreciate it.
Two enemies.
What?
Two enemies.
It's the thing she's... Yeah, okay.
That's what we call a callback, sweetie.
Oh.
Because you were like, there's too many enemies, and I went, too many enemies. And then I sat there with a big grin on my face looking at you like,
I'd already scrubbed it from my brain.
Well, I wanted to remind you.
Oh, good.
And the reason I haven't really said anything is because I'm really tired all of a sudden.
That's okay.
I'm fatigued.
I've done a few things. I've been watching a TV series, and I've only seen one episode since I last watched it, but I don't think I spoke about it at the time. Have any of you guys seen Young Offenders?
No.
It is an Irish comedy set in Cork about two, like, young offenders, basically. They're, like, teenagers. I don't know how old they are, like, 16-ish. And they're just kind of adorable dickheads. And they're just
Is that where you hang out with me?
Kind of.
Well, you know what? Ask and you shall receive, I guess.
They're just two mates living in Cork, and they think that they're like hard and cool and go around and try and steal things, but then kind of do it badly. But it's mostly a comedy because of that. It's just them being incompetent, but it's alarmingly sweet. Like, we spent as much time watching it like in tears because of like the emotions as much as laughing. It's really good.
Oh.
I think we were quite hungover when we watched it. We watched it after a mate's wedding, and we all sat there in the morning a bit hungover. We watched it. We watched one episode and ended up watching like the whole first series. And it's only a 6-episode series sort of thing. And it's on. Is it a BBC thing or it's shown on BBC? I'm not sure exactly, to be honest. I can't remember how we watched it, but yeah, it's just a short 6-series one. And then I remembered that it existed and noticed that there's a second series, so we were about to watch that. And then there was a Christmas episode. So we watched the Christmas episode the other day, which was weird when it's not exactly Christmas time.
Yeah.
But it is a great little series. It's like quite short episodes, and it's just, a mixture of hilarious and like really, really touching. There's some bits in it that are just ridiculously adorable.
Aww.
So yeah, I do recommend. We have watched a film. We went to the cinema and just about caught it before it stopped. We saw Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I've heard it's fantastic.
It is very good. So it's a Taika Waititi film. So he's the guy. He's the New Zealandy Kiwi guy.
He's the cool dude.
He's done quite a few sort of independent-y films in New Zealand, and then he's now done the Thor.
We did Thor Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
He was in What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah. So What We Do in the Shadows was his more sort of I think it was filmed back in New Zealand. It was a bit of a smaller budget, and it was before he. I'm trying to say this without like coming across as like a dick, but it was before everyone knew him. It was when he was a bit smaller, and he did quite a few of them. He did other ones, or he did Hunt for the Wilder People and Boy, and they're both all of his films I really like. And then Thor was really good, and then going into this one because it's Hollywoody, I was like, I'm a bit skeptical as to how his sort of writing and his sort of humour translates across to Hollywoody film when it's
the Kevin Smith problem.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, because it's like he did Thor Ragnarok. It's excellent. It's the best thing that could have happened to the Thor films. But because this is like his story, I was wondering how it'd work. But it is very good. It's I would say it's the least strong of his films, but that's only because he sets a ludicrously high standard.
Yeah.
It is very good. It's, for those who don't know, it's a black comedy, I guess you'd call it. Set during World War II in Germany about a young 10-year-old kid who's in the Hitler Youth, and he has an imaginary friend who is just Hitler. Yeah, it's...
You see, if it's anyone but like Taika Waititi, I'd be really...
It's a fine line, comedies about the Nazis.
Yeah.
But there's one that's really good, actually, called... It's a German film, called... what's it called? Look Who's Back, I think it is, or something along the line of that.
I think I've heard about this.
Yeah, it's basically a guy dresses up as Hitler and goes around Germany in character just to see how people would react, and it is pretty hilarious. And it's really well made. It's a sort of, Sacha Baron Cohen-esque Borat type thing. Yeah. Like, he just sees he's in character, and then everyone else, as far as I'm aware, everyone else sort of isn't. They're just people.
I mean, to be fair, the barrier to like what is a good Hitler-based comedy was set pretty low by "Hail, Honey, I'm Home." So,
okay, good.
If you're familiar with that at all,
I am not, and I'm not sure I want to be.
Like a British sitcom where it's just Hitler.
Okay, good.
I think it was made in the 80s. I believe. I think it's one of those things that had like 4 episodes showed, and then they were like, "No, we need to stop."
I'm not sure that anyone was aware enough or good enough in the 80s to pull that off.
Yeah,
but this does a really good job of just making the Nazis look really silly, which is quite nice.
I do know that Taika Waititi did say, because someone asked him like, "Oh, did you do much research on Hitler to play him in this movie?" And his response, I believe, was, "No, fuck Hitler."
yeah, I think it might have been exactly those words, quite possibly.
Yeah, I think that was the exact wording.
Yeah, no, because Taika, the director, plays Hitler in this. Yeah. So I was expecting it to be a bigger role, but actually it's kind of just a sort of side thing. It's not like... From watching the trailers and things, I thought that would be the main focus of the film, and it's really not. It's just kind of on the side. That's also there.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's interesting. It explores because he's obviously a kid who's been completely indoctrinated because that's how it happened. And it turns out his mum's been hiding a little Jewish girl in the attic, and they meet, and then the film is about their interaction. Okay. And yeah, it's really good. It's quite. Bits of it are hilarious. Bits of it are quite heavy.
I mean, it's about the Nazis.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah. It doesn't escape what they did at all, but it also makes them look really silly at the same time. Yeah, I think it balances the line really well. Personally, I don't. Yeah, give it a shot.
Cool. That reminds me, I watched fucking Death of Stalin the other day, and that's another comedy based around one of history's greatest monsters, and that was one where it was where again the marketing for it is very different to the actual movie that you see.
Okay.
It seems like it's just a kind of like Faulty Towers-esque farce. With like, Michael Palin, Steve Buscemi, just a ton of people who you will go, "Oh wait, I recognise that." Even Paul Whitehouse is in it, like just playing Stalin's inner circle. And yeah, you think it's going to be like a kind of farce comedy, and then you watch it, and it is, but it also doesn't ever pull its punches about the torture and violence that went on. so it's actually super fucking dark at times, and I like absolutely would understand if someone was like saw it and was like some of the darker things that happened were not necessarily shown, but they were mentioned, and honestly it skeeved me out a bit just even hearing about some of it. But they did at least acknowledge the whole thing of the twilight of his reign. Stalin basically kept himself and his entire like inner circle fucking blind bastard drunk all the time, watching westerns and playing pranks on each other, like putting tomatoes in each other's pockets and things. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, weird.
But yeah, it seems a bit like that, because I've seen adverts and trailers and things for Jojo Rabbit, and yeah, you do not get an idea of what kind of movie it is at all.
Yeah, but no, it's really good. I enjoyed it. The very last thing I've been doing this week is that I've been playing a game. It's just a little, I think it was like 89p on the Switch store or something, but it's just a little platform puzzler thing called Coloro? Let's go with Coloro. But it's spelled with a K, not a C, otherwise I would just say Coloro.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't really mention it because it's just an indie platform puzzly thing where, you're on a map and you've got to get from one side of it to the other, avoiding the spike traps and collecting the items sort of thing. But it just has a really good... It's just one button. You always move, and you just press jump to jump, and then if you jump against the surface, you change direction.
Okay, so it's sort of a little bit like an endless runner type thing.
Yeah, sort of. Apart from it's not, your map is just your one screen, so you can see the whole way you need to get to, and it's just got a really satisfying jump mechanic. Like, it just feels really good, and it's got like little bits of music that like beep boop off when you jump and things, and I don't know what it is about it, but it's just really satisfying little one to play. Like, there's no, as far as I can say, I've not played it for too long, but there's not too much. There's a bit of a story at the start. You wake up and you fall down a hole, and then your like imaginary friend guides you through it, and it doesn't really affect the game at all. So as far as I can see, it's just a puzzle platformy thing, the same as a lot of the other ones. But for some reason, this one has jumped out at being like it's just really quite satisfying to play.
Interesting.
Like a side scrollery platform thing. Yeah, and it was like 89p on the Switch store, so
well,
I saw it and I
can't complain for 89p.
Give it a go. I suppose I technically should have some games to talk about on this gaming podcast. So
ostensibly gaming podcast.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I don't know what it is about the controls, or the control singular. Because there is only one.
It has only one control. Somehow it has less controls than an Atari 2600 game.
Yeah, but yeah, it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. If you get a chance to, I don't know what else platform. I presume it's on other platforms. I presume it's probably. But yeah, I've been quite enjoying it. But that's me done. So and the last thing I've been having a bit of a think about is because I don't want to dwell on everything. I don't think I even just waves arms around furiously, just says everything. And I don't want to dwell on the negatives of this, but I was thinking, people are going to have a bit more time potentially stuck in the house a bit more. So I don't know if you want to go through some sort of TV series or potentially games or recommendations of things that will, pad out a lot of time, or, a series that you watched in the past that we've not really spoken about much on the podcast because you watched it 10 years ago or whatever. But just as a sort of recommendation for people to binge on a bit, just to keep everyone distracted. Just to put you guys on the spot somewhat.
Yeah. Has anyone got any ideas up front? Because I do. Yeah, you go for it.
I would recommend for like a TV series, The Booth at the End. It's a very intimately filmed thing where it's basically you don't go anywhere outside of the diner that it starts in. I would also say Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a fantastic series. Just watch through the series. They're amazing.
There's a lot of it now. So.
There's a lot of it, and they're all really, really good, really funny. A lot of really funny moments and a lot of very feelsy moments as well. Video games, I would say Stardew Valley. You probably won't even notice that time is passing.
This would probably, this would be a good time for people to do if they're, stuck at home. There are some games which people used to play but have continued, and people haven't really looked at them much again. or may not have come back to them. So something like this might be a fun time to come back to Minecraft.
Yeah.
Because there's been so much done to the game that it is
I check
very
in,
different
every year.
Yeah. And if you've not played it for several years since kind of the height of it, this might be a fun time to go back to it.
All the Sims. That's
again, yeah. These are kind of big time things. But actually, because Longfang's been playing it on stream recently, a good kind of like big chunky game.
Mad Max
is Mad Max, yeah. Which is if you've played shitloads of sandboxes, then it might not be. You might be a bit bored by it because it's not like it doesn't like revolutionize anything. It is just a sandbox. But it's a really solid sandbox, and I can definitely recommend playing through it. If, like me, you don't actually play through many of them, totally solid. You'll probably have a really good time the whole time. The ending, if I remember rightly, kind of sucks, but that's like the only real problem I kind of had with it. That, and given the nature of the Mad Max universe, you can imagine the types of content warnings that would be in place to play through it. So, that side.
I'd say Divinity Original Sin 2 as well. Fantastic game. And I can't really think of anything else. Oh, Castlevania.
Yeah, watch the
Third
Castlevania.
series is out. We haven't seen it yet, but yeah, first and second series are great. Drummer Matt, do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, I was having a bit of a think. I'm trying to think of like series I've historically liked. So, did you ever watch House? House is
I
good.
did, and then I literally got to a point where I went, I'm fucking sick of this character, and I've never watched it since.
Yeah, fair.
Because I was like, okay, I get it. He's the Bojack, he's the dickhead, and you know what? Fuck him. I don't like him, and I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, that's just me. Like,
yeah.
So...
Like, he is, it has the thing where you don't like the main character. But we really enjoyed it, and it has quite a satisfying ending as far as endings for things that go on for 8 odd series or however many it is usually don't end well, or at least most people think they don't end well. But it had quite a satisfying ending as well, which was quite nice. I'd recommend Firefly, but I assume everyone to watch that. But Dollhouse, if you want something similar to that, Dollhouse was really good, which I don't think as many people have seen.
Pretty dang good. Yeah, I liked it.
The Bridge, one of the Scandi noir things. I think it's set on the bridge that goes from Denmark to Sweden, so I can't remember if the show is Swedish or Danish, because it's kind of set in both, and I can't remember which country made it. Probably both, but that's really good. We mentioned Taika Waititi earlier. There's a What We Do in the Shadows TV series.
I've heard that is good.
That's out, which is good. And there's also Wellington Paranormal, which is in the same sort of universe. They're both really good. The last one I was going to mention, but it's been a long time since I've watched it, so I don't know how it holds up. But there's a lot of it to watch. Scrubs. I fucking loved Scrubs at the time.
It does have some really dodgy moments.
I assume it's probably going to have a few... Yeah, it probably does have a few bits.
Like the whole Dr. Cox always referring to JD as a girl, like, and there's a lady's name. As kind of punishing him. And it's like, but I mean, to be fair, it's a good few years old, and it was pretty good for the time, considering.
Yeah, with the caveat that that there's probably going to be some issues with it. At the time, I adored that show.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
and again, there's a lot
it's very easy watching, and there's a lot of it. Yeah, although probably don't watch to the very end.
Oh,
just because but
yeah, Person of Interest is really good. Gets a bit weird towards the end, but that's really good. I watched some NCIS the other day, and it was awful. I was like, shit, I used to love this show. What the hell?
That is actually the problem, like, when you try and think back to, like...
Sailor Moon is still amazing. Like, not Crystal, but the Sailor Moon, like, sub. Because the dub is fucking terrible. Like, it suffers from all the problems of, like, mid-90s anime shipped out to America. Let's change everything. Let's make the lesbian couple cousins so everything looks super creepy and incestuous, because that's more palatable than gay people. But yeah, if you can find a subbed version, I'd recommend that. But yeah, that's basically all I can think of.
Yeah, actually, one thing I have been meaning to watch through, and again, this is something a bit like Scrubs, where it goes through, it was done for like such a long period of time, and it's still, being made, is Venture Brothers. I've been meaning to watch through that because I got to like season 4 back in the day.
Yeah, I got a bit further than you, I think.
But... Yeah, and I stopped watching, and it wasn't because
it just took so long in between series that by the time it happened, you had no idea. Like, who the fuck is this character?
You feel like you had to watch the whole thing every time a new series came out. It was just
exhausting to keep.
But I've been meaning to watch it because there's, I watched like the first, like half of the first season, like not too long ago, and I did watch it, and I was like, the language used in this, like, is a bit
spicy.
But you look at the time when it was made, and you're like, yeah, this was pretty common, like, kind of edgy dialogue, and it was never good, but it wasn't like something that you had to be being an active dickhead to do. It was just a lot of people did it, so you can't judge it quite the same as if someone did it now.
A lot of caveats are to be had.
But a lot of shows like that did learn over time and got better with that kind of stuff. But yes, I've been meaning to go back and actually go through that. So with the obvious caveats in place, because I did really enjoy the first few seasons. Because it was an homage to a lot of the show, like things like Johnny Quest and things that I watched as a kid, the stuff from the 60s. That was just still shown on Cartoon Network during the 90s. And I got a big kick out of it. But yeah, so that's a thing as well. But yeah, anything else that people could recommend for people trying to fill up a bit of time?
Think of, no.
I mean, you could also just paint your fucking Warhammer.
No. I mean, yeah, you could just do that.
But also, and I feel I should mention this, if you do happen to find yourself having to self-isolate, do not feel that you have to complete that project that you've been putting off. If you can, that's cool, and it is a good opportunity to do that stuff, but don't feel that you have to create something of value whilst you're protecting yourself. Capitalism is awful, and don't feel like you have to be producing all the time. If you just need to rest, because you deserve it.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
But yeah, anyone else got anything to say?
No, that's everything.
There's probably hundreds of things I want to say here, and I can't think of off the top of my head, to be honest. But...
Well, what you can do instead, then, is read out the questions that we've received.
Okay, I will do.
What's the email address they should send those questions to, Matt?
onlydrummermatt@snipeandweb@gmail.com.
Can you also say it, Snipe?
No.
You can't?
No.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
Medical condition.
Okay. Since we've got to go and be somewhere after this, we should probably go through these questions as quick as possible and try not to have a 20-minute rant on the end of it.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see how it goes.
Who knows how things will go.
Okay, so in no particular order as usual. First up, Henry. What if it is possible to make female space marines, and the space wolves have been including them for thousands of years, but it's like with dwarves where people just assume there aren't any female ones because of the beards?
Yeah, headcanon accepted. That's cool.
I mean, there's a lot of people who have said, like, given the gene forging process, it's entirely possible that to a casual glance it would be quite difficult to tell anyway.
You see, I don't like,
and not least because what people consider to be quote unquote masculine or feminine traits are mostly bullshit anyway.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I'm happy with that in universe canon. In real world canon, representation is important, and that's you need
and that's really, really
more
important.
Explicitly female models just because people feel included. But
yeah, have ladies with beards. That's completely like badass. Yeah, but like have lots of different types of ladies. Easy. There we go. So yeah.
But
sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that with Space Wolves.
Yeah.
If there was a chapter of Space Marines that would be like, I wonder if this works on ladies too, and then tries it on and fucking Valkyries of Fenris. Yeah, they can.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Like the Fenrisians are like, you can basically say, oh yeah, well, we don't even bother to actually go through the process. The Space Wolves are just Fenrisians. They don't have the black carapace. They're just
that tough.
They're just like that anyway.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I'm totally okay with that.
All right. Next up, Technician Sourwell.
Hello.
If you were forced to choose one 40k faction to invade present-day Earth, which one would you pick?
Tyranids.
Why?
Burn it to the ground.
I mean, can't say we don't deserve it.
Okay, but like seriously, I don't know. I wouldn't really want anyone to invade Earth. It's got so many issues as is.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan.
It's just like, hey, would you rather be like burned to death with lava or molten steel? It's like,
depending on the writer, the Tau's probably your best bet.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because at least they sort of try and integrate you a little bit.
Yeah.
A slight amount. I mean, to be honest, the Imperium would be the worst. At least the other ones, it'd be a relatively quick death. Whereas living under the Imperium would be fairly horrific.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're invaded by, like, Cornate, like, Marines or something, yeah, you'd be pretty much immediately done. That's fine. But, yeah. I'm going to go for Tau, then.
None of them are the good guys.
Yeah.
Or let's just say the squats. Because then we all get badass trikes.
Okay, that's cool,
all
the
right,
squats.
Yeah, that's fair. Alright, next up. I'm going to pronounce this completely wrong despite being a Tau player. Guivesa Ui, Ryan Codner.
Hello.
First up, they say that they really enjoy your painting logs, Wib.
Oh, thank you very much.
Related to that, will we ever get videos on your guys' warbands? I know there's been one on Wib's Orcs from ages ago, but was curious to see how everyone's armies have progressed.
Maybe my Tyranids.
That would be good.
I'm kind of really weird with my painting. I don't like showing it off very much because it's like a huge source of anxiety for me, which I am slowly getting over, but it is taking work, so I don't think I'm quite there yet, but it is nice to know that there's some interest there. That does help.
And yes, I'll make some at some point. Yeah. It's more, for me, it's more a factor of the other armies that I have that are like active ones. Like the Orcs, very little has happened to them. If anything, stuff has been taken away because I've put it into my Grot Rebellion. Is my Blood Angels, who are in various states of completion. So even though I use them a lot, not enough of them are complete that I feel like showing them off, like as a whole thing, if you know what I mean. My Eldar are mostly done, so I might they might actually be the one that get a video on them next. But saying that, all the models have been shown off in my painting logs, so I sort of don't know if it's worthwhile. And when I get like enough of my Grot Rebellion together, I definitely will, just because who doesn't want to make videos on Grot Rebellions? It's just kind of too small to do anything with right now.
Second question. Since Codex jokes are now a thing, what weird/obscure 40k race or monster would you want to see GW make a model for?
Hrud.
Which version? Are you talking about the old school, like, basically Space Skaven interpretation, or the modern, weird, fucking spindly nonsense that they are now?
I want the old version.
Yeah,
I want
Space Skaven. Yeah, that was going to be my
I'm
answer.
actually totally down.
Yeah.
And not just fucking ratlings.
No.
Because they're just hobbits.
Yeah. But like, just space. Like, I want them to have like loads of weird orcs and stuff.
Yeah, no, Space Skaven, I'd totally be down for.
If you had the rules for it, you wouldn't even need that many models, because like Skaven would just work as Space Skaven.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there are little things, like, I mean, you know, of course I would like to have like a proper Grot Rebellion list, like get them to have like having the old cutters and things they used to have in Gorka Morka. Like, I actually think that'd be genuinely cool, like to just make them just like how, you know, Dark Angels are a spin-off of Space Marines. Like, I think that'd be really cool to have an actual Grot Rebellion list.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool.
But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of codexes of little things that could be interesting. Like a proper Dark Mechanicus one would be nice.
What about you, Drummer Butt?
I mean, yeah, like I said, you took my answer straight away. Space Skaven would be great.
Sorry.
Squats are always fun too.
Yeah.
But they're not. I don't know if they even count as obscure. Either of those answers count as obscure anymore. But
yeah, I think that's the thing.
It's
like a lot of the stuff that was kind of like the things where people would be like, "Oh, I really wish they had a codex," was stuff like the Mechanicus or Deathwatch, which over time just became their own factions, or Custodes. You know, actually, I know one, Arbites.
Bless you.
Oh yeah, Arbites.
The Judge Dredd police.
Okay.
But yeah, because loads of people make Arbite armies, and then just have to use like Imperial Guard or what have you. And they've had sort of, kind of the enforcers for Necromunda, sort of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they could expand that.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah. Next up, Pyro. This is a 3-part question. I'm going to ask all parts in one go.
Okay.
Who is Alphabus? Why is Alphabus? And what is Alphabus?
Yes.
Good.
He is a Swedish mystery cryptid.
He is a Swedish meatball wrapped in a tortilla, wrapped in a layer of fruit roll-ups, placed gently and lovingly in a tin of Pilsnerkov hot dog sausages.
All surrounded by the general essence of one of the nicest people I've ever spoken to.
Yep.
Yeah, he's ridiculous, isn't he?
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
That's
if you're listening, Alpha, you're very
Next.
nice.
Next up,
How dare you be so nice?
So next up, I'm the guy. So how does one deal with being completely surrounded by homophobes and bigots? So the story here is that they're gay, they're closeted as fuck, and live in Ukraine, which is not necessarily the best environment for that.
No.
They do say they're better off than most. They have a boyfriend and they have online friends who are very supportive and very gay. But being constantly surrounded by people who think that gays are perverse, morally inferior degenerates is kind of tiresome. Please help. How cope?
Believe it.
That shit's not fun.
No, not at all.
I'm sorry you have to deal with that kind of shit.
Yeah,
because it is horrifying.
Yeah, I said back in the email back, I think it's probably important to try and remember you are loved and you are valued by a lot of people. Might not be the people you bump into in real life outside in your immediate proximity, but worldwide and online and everything, there is a lot of people who respect you and love you and value you for who you are. And I guess you've just got to focus on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's you'll still have dark moments because the world is horrible, but it is good to know that, and I'm not saying like, oh well, you would have had it way harder, but no, it's just, it's nice to see how far we've come.
Yeah.
Where imagine not having the internet and being LGBTQ. Oh my Christ, it must have been impossible for those poor people. And not to say that it's not horrifyingly difficult now, because it still is in a lot of places. I am the guy who was saying, it's still very difficult. No, it will always erode your soul. And yeah, it's just, you have a support network there who adores you because you're awesome and they understand. And the only thing I can say is just keep up hope that the world is changing.
Yeah.
And it's taking a while, but it is changing. And it isn't fair that you have to put up with that shit in any way, shape, or form.
Because these people, you look back at history and the people who were against, the civil rights movement in America, the people who have been against gay rights, and now the people, the people who these days are being virulently anti-trans for their own stupid-ass reasons. These people are not remembered or will be remembered in the history books as being in the right. They're remembered as regressive people that
made life worse.
That made
for
life
so many
hard
people.
for people. They're not the heroes of the story, and they never will be. And just, it sucks, and solidarity to you, man. That's...
You're sending all the love in the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
Things suck, but if we all, I live for the hope that if we all come together, then they won't always suck. A better world is possible. We just have to stop being dicks to one another. And
the thing is, we slowly are.
Yeah, and we slowly are.
Yeah.
It could happen a damn sight fucking quicker, but I mean...
It should be happening a lot quicker, but...
we're making progress.
Yeah.
And it is hard to kind of see it, keep your head above water, but
yeah,
it is being made. That was really serious.
Yeah.
But I hope we made you feel better, dude.
Yeah, hopefully. Hang in there. Okay, this one is less serious. Acidus.
Okay.
Very quick question. Can Space Marines swim?
In their armor?
I believe they just sink in their armor. I'm pretty sure they can, yes. I'm like 99% certain that I've read a book where they can swim.
No, they're like rabbits. They can't swim.
Well, they were designed in the 80s, right? So if you base it off like video game logic, they just instantly
swimming was
explode.
invented in 1998 and has since then...
Have you played a video game from the 90s?
Yes.
Yeah.
I played games in the 80s, you dweeb.
And they, people explode the instant you touch water.
Either that or there's the anxiety music from Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic can't swim, he sinks.
What was it you said to me the other day? It's like, oh, if anyone without anxiety asks what it's like, just say it's like your drowning music from Sonic, but it just keeps going higher and nothing happens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, that's perfect.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, that's literally it. That's anxiety.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure they can. I'm sure I've read a book where they swim.
I don't care if they can swim. I just want to see them in Japanese hot springs.
I mean, sure.
In their armor?
No.
Is their armor waterproof?
Yes,
they can
it's
fight
basically
underwater in it.
airtight.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they literally can, because they can do void fighting in it, but they can also fight underwater in it. There's a story of Space Wolves doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we'd all like to see like big burly naked space means having a bit of a soak in the Japanese spring.
It can be like the filler episode of the anime.
No, that can be the entire anime. I'd be okay with that. The filler episode is where they have to do fighting.
Next question.
Okay,
let's
a
move
couple
on.
of quick recommendations. So first up, Robert recommends an old radio drama. That was one of the inspirations for the Twilight Zone. So I think this is directed more towards the wib end of the sci-fi nonsense spectrum. It's called
The wib end.
X-1/Dimension X.
Okay, sounds like a command that you put into Microsoft Excel, but sure.
Yeah, right. It even has many famous sci-fi authors' stories adapted to audio authors and things. So, like,
Interesting.
Ray Bradbury, Isaac Asimov, Philip K. Dick type things. So,
rad.
Yeah, if you fancy an old radio drama.
Cool.
YouTube series. So this is another one recommended towards Wib, but I think I'd like this as well. So this is Sourwell, again, because the question's aren't in any order. If you email twice, you're not going to get bundled together like a sensible podcast. Sourwell, so a YouTube channel called Mishima Productions. So they take their son's Lego creations and then build more advanced versions of them, but keeping the spirit of the original. I was like,
that's a really cool idea.
I'd totally be down for watching that.
It's very you too. Yeah.
John is recommending. So, he asks, have any of us watched or been interested in professional wrestling?
I used to watch a lot of it for obvious reasons. It shaped a lot of me as a child. You can probably see how.
Well, their thoughts were that they find that wrestling and 40k have a quite similar over-the-top sort of everything about them.
Oh, so. Absolutely. Very much so. But and like honestly, if you could just start putting Space Marines out there in power like shorts, I think basically it would improve it so much. So, get on that, writers. I want to see power armakinis.
I unfortunately went to school with a bunch of not very switched on kids who all thought wrestling was real and would argue with you incessantly about that. So I ended up not liking wrestling because everyone I knew that liked it was an idiot.
Can I make a wild stab in the dark and say that all of them were just constantly crotch chopping at people?
Oh, you have no idea.
That was the dabbing of our day.
It fucking was.
And it was somehow worse. Because I think dabbing's hilarious.
Shit, have you seen... I hate to keep bringing it up, but have you seen the wrestling things being done with no one in the auditorium? Right? They just become this weird, tense play.
I mean... I stand by what I said earlier. It's basically just watching them practice, like a full dress rehearsal.
It makes things weirdly intense. It gives it such a different energy. It's fascinating.
The Rock played, was it a Cardassian?
What, in Star Trek? No, he played a random like gladiator style thing thing in the Delta Quadrant in an episode of Voyager. Yeah, I believe he fights 7 of 9.
I bet she kicks his ass.
I can't actually remember. I try to forget large portions of Voyager.
That's
very
fair.
good.
I just remember him kind of, he literally had the eyebrow in there, and
Yeah.
I was like, nice.
That was because at the time, the American channel that was showing it both had wrestling and Voyager on, so it was a cross promotion to promote both series.
Huh.
Oh, I was headcanoning it that like The Rock is a huge sci-fi nerd.
Maybe.
He was really good in Doom, by the way.
Not sure.
He was
being
great.
good. The Doom movie is not very
He
good.
had a really ugly Semper Fi tattoo
He very
airbrushed
much
on his.
did,
It was.
yeah.
It's like don't. Oh God, what a bad tattoo that is. It's like there's so many other ways you could have made that prettier, but okay. I like the glove splitting. That's like that awoken something in me. Oh God, I was getting a coffee in Greg's the other day with Wib, and there was this guy behind me who had like this big like beard, short crop hair, and he was like strongman, like bulk. And I turned around and I double take, and I looked back to Wib and go, "That guy is goals." And Wib's like, "I know, honey.
Yeah.
I know." Well,
He was a space marine in real life.
I know. I was just like, wow. The problem I have is I want to compliment men more because it's not really a thing and men need compliments because it's not often they get compliments, and men are good. So like you kind of want to go up and just go, hey, I just want to say that like your physique is like really inspiring, and I can tell that you work really, really hard. Good on you. But it's also really awkward as a person who isn't a dude to go up to like a guy and be like, "Hey, nice body, bro," because it's like I'm in a relationship and I'm not saying it to be flirty, and I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. It's difficult.
Yeah.
No one's
Yeah, I get
suffered
you.
more than I have. But yeah, also like compliment your male friends more. Like Drummer Matt, I think your beard and the way you do your hair is very nice. It really suits your head and neck and makes you look very handsome.
Yeah, thank you.
Webb, you got a great ass.
I know.
It's different when it's your partner.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get out of the slightly awkward cul-de-sac.
yeah.
Matthew, next question.
No. Back to the same question. So on wrestling.
Oh.
So John was recommending if we were at all interested in wrestling, there's a newish company called AEW. I don't know what that stands for. Presumably the W is wrestling. But he says they're particularly good with lots of wrestlers we might like. So there's a big list here, which I'll just pick out a few highlights. So the first one, there's a wrestler who is a D&D player who rolls a D20 on his way onto the ring. And his finishing move is the TPK. So there is a tag team comprising of a 42 million year old dinosaur with a master's degree and a boy who rides on his shoulders.
That is amazing.
The people I went to school with thought wrestling was real.
Yeah.
Oh, and
this is real.
The women's division currently has a trans woman as champion. So
Fuck yeah.
Cool.
So
Heck yeah, trans.
there's a big list
I
of it.
have actually heard, because I do follow a lot of people who do just happen to like wrestling, and I have heard good things about it. So
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
I mean, it sounds sillier than WWE, which I'm not saying is a bad thing at all.
I mean, to be fair, not much sillier.
No, maybe not. Okay, moving on. Orc Boy.
Is that a statement?
That is a person.
Okay, hello, boy.
Their opening sentence, we can make a joke about this. I'm not sure I like people emailing in making a joke about this. So, for the entertainment of the 3 people who listened up to this point, could you rate... Okay, the question is, could you rate every well-known guard regiment? What I'm going to do is put them in a top 3, because that's quicker. So, the ones that are listed here, Cadians, Caschans, Armageddon, Steel Legion, Vostroyan? I've never said that out loud.
yeah.
Vostroyan, Firstborn, Valhalla, Telon, Atalant, Mordian, and the one that the Nazis like very much is the list.
Krieg? Okay.
Presumably. What are your top 3?
Cadian, Katachan, and... Ooh. I'm thinking, go on.
Well, they don't have my actual favourite guard regiment, which is the Necromundan Spiders, I think they're called. Mostly just because of that one picture from Fantasy Flight game of the punk guardsman that is just the best thing.
Oh shit, yeah, that's at my top.
But that's not a well-known one that's had models or anything.
Oh.
I do like the Vostroyans. Vostroyans? How do you say it? And as much as I you know, they have some implications. I do really like the Deathcore Krieg.
Yeah. I think they're cool, but yeah, the implications.
I mean, not as bad as the Armageddon Steel Legion. They literally have like the lightning thing as their symbol, which is like oof.
Okay, I'm gonna be like Cadian, Catachan, Tenant Zone. I know it doesn't quite count, but I'm having that in there anyway.
Yeah, Tanith are good. Yeah, I don't know. Depends what day of the week you ask me.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, I've always liked the Cadians. It's just a nice look.
I think they're cool. I want purple eyes because I hate my eyes. I hate having blue eyes. They're garbage. Not on other people, just on me. But yeah, so like the idea of purple eyes is just so enticing, and they're super badass as well.
Yeah.
So.
I've never liked Catchans. I don't know. I think it's just because they just seem far too 90s for me. But like,
they're really
not
90s.
In a hilarious
also,
way.
their models are bad.
Yeah.
Because they've had them for so long, and they were kind of bad to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Desert Raiders are cool. Desert Raiders are cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the sort of thing where I need to like sit down with a graph
with Lexicanum on,
and like sit with a calculator and work out which ones I actually like better. To be perfectly honest,
Yeah.
Imperial Guard hacked. You're hacking the Imperial.
I'm hacking with a calculator.
Just put them in. You put your thoughts in a YouTube video, label it a top 5, and then the algorithm will love it. So.
Or you just say, like Imperial Guard virtue signaling, and then just because apparently that generates views.
Honestly, I don't think that that end of YouTube is doing anywhere near as well as they used to. So
good.
They are
good.
They are nowhere near as relevant as they used to be.
Very last question.
Okay.
This question is from Tim. So
Hello,
the
Tim.
question: imagine that GW announced they wanted to expand into other businesses. As experts in the field of GW-ishness, you are tasked to create their next product line, tea. What would be the flavours, names, and advertisement for 40k or Games Workshop styled teas?
Well, I mean, there's the obvious one of that you can do
Black Templas.
I mean, no, you've just won it already. I mean, not in a good way, but
I mean, and then there'd be like green skin.
Yeah, I was gonna say
like green skin tea,
which you just call. I don't know, like you just write the word Dakar on it in like all caps over.
Although
and over
I'm
again.
just sitting here like because
Mex Brew.
Yeah, that's pretty good
for green tea.
Yeah. And then for Earl Grey, they just throw it in the bin and don't have it because it's
Earl Grey
garbage.
Nights.
Earl Grey Nights. Okay, you know what? They're allowed to stay because of the pun.
Or if you want to do a Heresy or one Earl Grey Slayers. You know.
Earl Grey Knights get to have the PG Tip style monkey logo because monkeys.
Yeah,
because
I think they do still have the Jakara.
Yeah. And then like every now and again, you get like a dish towel with like a Jakaro on it.
Valhalla iced tea.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
good. That's good.
If it was Tau tea, it'd just be T''EA.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
You could have Lehman tea.
Lemon. Yeah, okay. It took me it took me longer than it really should have done, but yeah, that's good. Pretty good.
And it's your choice whether it's the tank or the character.
It's the character, definitely.
Or that can be the advertising campaign. You can have both, and you can play them off against each other, and like buy which one is your favourite to encourage it to be more made or something, and bullshit.
Augment your tea drinking
Experience.
pre-order. You get DLC for it later down the line. I don't know much about like teas.
Yeah, well, they have like
Slanesh would have their own line of hot chocolate. Like
if you're gonna kind of have
with
have a bit
loads
of
of marshmallows and stuff.
Oh yeah.
That'd be nice. I don't even like hot chocolate, but that sounds amazing. And Cinch, it would be like colour changing tea. Or like, to be fair, probably be like what's the word? Bubble tea.
Yeah.
I feel that'd be more Nurgle.
No, yeah, Nurgle would be way more bubble tea.
Oh yeah, it's all lumpy. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely more Nurgle. I'm trying to think for corn. I think corn would just be plain black
Maybe
tea.
that like gunpowdery tea, which doesn't actually taste that nice.
You mean chili tea?
Ooh, or chili tea. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, it'd be like spiced tea. Because then you drink it and go, oh, this is terrible, and I'm mad about it. Or something. And then Gorka Morka, it'd just be hot water. with like a boot in it and a half a brick.
I don't know. Like they're big into their fungus brews. The orcs are.
So they.
It's mushroom soup, basically.
No, yeah, I was like, so in the tea line, Gork and Mork like themed like tea is just soup.
It's a cup of soup.
It's a fucking cup of soup.
Is basically tea. So.
Oh, I hate you so much right now, Matthew.
Look, let's be honest. The distinction between soup and a hot beverage is a purely arbitrary.
Okay, well, how about this for a in between then? So I reckon the Cadians, like the run of the mill, just the standard troops that are just hanging out on a Saturday morning or whatever, would definitely have Bovril.
100%.
That's disgusting. No, they wouldn't. Take it back. Or I'll write a 7-hour like fucking YouTube response video to you calling you a bum.
Yep.
I'll do it. I don't care.
But yeah, Bovril is. I'm not sure that even counts as a drink at this point. But
that is no. It's not. It's not a drink. It's a fucking declaration of war.
Non-British people, feel free to Google what Bovril is.
I mean, it's
disgusting.
Gravy, but
it's drinking gravy. It's gross. And it's watery gravy as well.
Bovril just gives you the socially acceptable avenue for, when you make gravy and you look down at it and you go, this is really tasty gravy, and you know that you are committing a social faux pas by drinking it.
Okay.
Bovril lets you live out that fantasy.
Okay, like, literally, I could take or leave a lot of gravy. The only gravy I absolutely fucking love and go batshit nuts for is KFC's gravy. As much as I adore that, have never just had it on its own. I've always had it with chips or a bit of chicken. I could not drink gravy. As much of a big piece of shit student garbage fucking human I've ever been, I would not drink gravy.
I'm not saying that I don't prefer to have gravy with food, like gravy or mashed potatoes. Oh. Quite frankly, if that was the only food that I could eat for the rest of my life, I'd actually be kind of okay with that.
I actually like mashed potatoes without gravy.
Well,
you're thinking of divorcing me now, aren't you?
I mean, you can just eat your dry mashed potatoes
if
you like. They're not
dry if you make them properly with butter and milk.
Ooh, but a little bit of cream in there.
Oh, I've never had them with cream.
Just
that sounds
not
really
too
good,
much,
but also really bad.
Much, but just a little bit.
But I feel that whilst that is very nice, that is only improved by a little bit of gravy.
Yeah,
okay, if it was KFC gravy,
I don't think that matches very well. I think you want to have
bad gravy is better than no gravy.
Oh, did you fucking just call KFC gravy bad gravy?
No. KFC gravy is great gravy, but any gravy is better than no gravy. Is my point.
I would say that's not true because I remember my mother made me turkey gravy.
Okay, but your mother is like beyond the realms of anything that is comparable.
Okay, you know what? That's fair.
Her capacity to make things that you should enjoy the taste.
Sorry.
Okay,
her capacity to make things that you should enjoy the taste of foul was fascinating.
Honestly, she did have a gift.
It was.
She made after dinner sundaes for us once, which were like a layer of like chocolate pudding, a layer of chocolate orange, like Angel Delight. I think there was a layer of strawberry Angel Delight in there as well. A shit ton of like hot chocolate powder.
Something like that.
It's something really acidic and really horrible. And
coconut?
There was a layer of coconut in there.
You had me sold until the coconut, to be fair.
I'm sure there was like chocolate fingers or something.
Yeah, it was like a lot of stuff that like in theory
and
should
then,
all...
like cream and then custard as well.
Yeah, it was like all stuff that like in theory should work together, but like
gross.
the flavours just combined to just taste like bile.
It was really disgusting. It was
really peculiar. Like that's the thing.
And then she sits there. She used to sit there grinning at you, like standing over you, going, "Do you like it?" Yeah, it's fine. I'm really full from dinner. Where you made that fucking like. I don't know how you get gravy to be a thinner consistency than just tap water, but she would manage it. Oh my lord.
I feel like we should probably end this.
Stop bitching about my mother's
since
cooking.
the podcast has already gone on for longer than we intended, and now we're just talking about gravy.
Okay, KFC gravy is the king, and I really want some now, actually. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's fair. Eldar would definitely... Sorry, not Eldar. The
Eldari
would definitely have like herbal infusions and not tea.
They'd be cold brew herbal infusions because that's what all the hipsters are doing nowadays.
Is that not just like orange squash, basically?
Okay, don't say that to someone who likes tea. I don't know why I made it sound like someone had just punched me in the gut there. I was stretching and then I laughed and just came out and looked. So sorry. I'm not going to be able to go boxing tomorrow night, so I'm like...
T-Reneds. T-Reneds.
Hey, there we go.
Enjoy their biomass.
You just hold...
I look forward to High Fleet Darjeeling.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, yeah, Darjeeling is definitely a Tyranid tea. That makes so much sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have a name for your High Fleet, for your Tyranids.
I am not calling them High Fleet Darjeeling. That is dreadful. No.
Is there any other questions?
No, that's it.
Okay, we should say goodbye now.
Okay, thank you very much for listening, and we look forward to answering more very important, silly tea-related questions. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves and everybody else.
Yeah.
And know that we think you're lovely and would give you big hugs if you want.
Although possibly not for the next few weeks.
No, but you know what I mean. We're sending telepathic hugs.
Yep.
Bye, everybody.
Maintain respectful distance. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.